Well, I guess the first thing is if you want to introduce yourself here, and it is the season where people are familiar with the Red Kettles, but Kylie, thanks so much for your time. Just I guess tell everybody who you are and what you do.
My name is Captain Kiley Williams, and I'm with the Salvation Army here in Newport. So just been here for about 4 months.
Nice. How do you like it so
Yeah,
far?
it's good so far. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Newport's a very interesting community when it comes to, I mean, there's a lot of nonprofit activity that takes place, and there's really, even on the ground level, on the grassroots level, there's a real spirit of taking care of each other that is ever present. And so that should, in theory, spread to organizations like the Salvation Army. And look, the Red Kettle donation, people are used to seeing it. It's become almost synonymous, like Santa Claus or something, in terms of that aspect of the holidays. But you're going to be setting up at places like Walmart, Stop and Shop, Shaw's,
Yeah.
and actually looking for volunteers. But give us sort of the rundown on what is happening with the Red Kettles.
I mean, so we actually kind of started on Saturday. We just had one out, but we'll slowly bring in the other kettles. But yeah, we have I think 5 locations, and that money helps us help the community throughout the rest of the year. So if we don't have the people out to ring, then we don't get the money that we can help support the community. So, I mean, we're always looking for volunteers, groups, schools, anybody that would be willing to help for an hour or a whole day. It's always a good thing to help. So,
Right.
yeah.
You're one of Newport's oldest charitable movements, the Salvation Army. It's an international organization, dates back to
Mhm.
1865, founded in London.
Yeah.
What sort of relationship, what drew you in broadly to this work?
For me, my parents are with the Salvation Army, so like this is what I grew up with. Seeing what they do on a daily basis. Now it was not always easy, and I really didn't think that this is where I would be. Um, but you know, for us, and I think I mentioned that in the article, it's like it's a calling, it's not a job, it's a ministry. So we want to help people as well, but we want to help them spiritually too. And so that used to terrify me, but now it's getting easier. I mean, my husband and I have been in the Army as officers for 14 years. So it's gets a little bit easier, and every location is very different. So we're always learning every day.
You partner with Channel 10 WJAR in a Thanksgiving drive. Obviously, we're hitting that moment right now. A lot of people are probably familiar if they grew up watching Channel 10 with this. It's one of those things that just look, from a marketing standpoint, it's a really effective idea because it becomes synonymous with the season. Talk about that if you would a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, we did the telethon, and that money helps raise money for the Thanksgiving baskets. So we were able to between there's 3 Salvation Armies in Rhode Island, and then there's a couple in Massachusetts, and we split that money to help support the families that need assistance for Thanksgiving.
And obviously, that extends certainly to to Christmas time as well, and the holidays broadly. But what sort of expectation do you have in terms of, it's tough to put a number on it. It's tough to sit here and say we want to raise X, Y, and Z. People are strapped right now in a way that maybe they aren't typically. We have a housing crisis, we have an inflation situation, cost of living is exorbitant in general right now, and wages aren't keeping pace. So is are there ways that people can help even if they're not able to spare any dollars?
Uh, for like the Christmas like kettles, are you talking about, or just like generally
I think
speaking?
in the context of, the holidays right now, people might see the kettles and say, geez, I can't help out.
Right.
I can't toss money in, but is there something else they can do volunteer wise or even just spreading the word?
Yeah, the bell ringing. We do our angel tags, so we have families that come in that need help for their kids for Christmas. So even buying a toy or a clothing item that that child might need is a huge help to us so that we can help those families in need. We do have, I know Lynn mentioned that we have a community meal twice a week on Fridays at 4 and then Sundays at 12:30. And so even food donations for that, or if, helping prep a meal, helping serve the meal. We average about 40, 45 people on any given Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, helping that way is always big too.
There's folks out there who are concerned. There's certainly something that I can recall, and I actually don't know. This is a genuine question. When they see the Salvation Army about discrimination against LGBTQAI2S plus folks, is that something that is in the past at this point where you welcome people of all sexualities and orientations?
I can speak for myself because I know many people. And it's the whole, and I hate to use this, but treating others the way you want to be treated. Like if people want to come in for help, if they need the help, then we'll give it to them. Like there's no, it is sadly in any place that there's going to be someone that, you know, thinks differently. But, for us, it's like I know people in all walks of life, and it's like you got to love them where they are. So that's all I can say about that. So
In terms of working for the organization, is that something that you allow? And if someone were to want to be a soldier or a bell ringer, is there any discrimination against people based on their sexual orientation?
can um I don't I don't know how to really answer that. I can't really speak for that.
Yes or
Um
no? Or can gay
Definitely,
people work for the Salvation Army?
well, yes, depending on what it is. Bell ringers, sure. We've had volunteers. We are glad to work with anybody that, you know, again, all walks of life. If you want to help support the cause, then yes.
Okay, so yes, that because I mean, you would admit there's been controversy around this issue for many years, and it's unclear as to whether or not folks of varying orientations are permitted to work for or receive the help of the Salvation Army. I think it's a fair thing for people as if they're going to donate to an organization, they should know that it is a fully accepting organization. I think that's what I'm asking.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, one of our, oh, see, of course, I can't think of it off the top of my head, is the non-discrimination for the community. And so, and that again, that gets really tough because some people don't always follow that, if you know what I mean. Like
Sure.
in anywhere, there's going to be that person. And that's sad because that one person could leave a bad taste in somebody else's mouth about what the Army stands for. And that's heartbreaking because again, like we are to love everyone. Some people might not always agree with it, but you know, who are we to judge?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's great to hear, and I think a lot of people would be relieved to hear that because it's been out there
Oh,
for
yes.
sure. It's something that has definitely been an issue that I think is a burden on the organization's good work, if that makes sense. Sort of last question here on that, or just in general, is going forward into, I guess, the next, as you look towards the next year in 2025 and sort of strategic partnerships that you might form in Newport, what do you think is the greatest area of need right now that the Salvation Army can address? If you were going to, of course, there are many, but if you're going to pick one, what would that look like?
That's hard because we're still getting to learn the area and the need. But I think we talked about this earlier. Like housing is huge. I don't know how we can help with that, but if there's any way that we can support again teamwork within the community and the different services, how we can work together to kind of help that some with housing or whatever the case may be. I know that doesn't really help, but that would be a huge thing. And for I know for us, like I love youth programs, and I think I've heard that needing some more, I don't want to say affordable youth programming. So we're trying to start some things, especially when the new year comes in January, that we want to start doing more youth outreach, do summer camps, things that might be affordable for the families in the area.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today here on the Newport This Week podcast. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.